All right, so welcome again to Military Guna TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as you can see, a little bit more improvement. Things are happening. Things are happening. But guess what, people? For things to happen, I would really, really appreciate it if you guys continue to smash in that like button. And also, if you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button because that is the only way the channel can grow. And as you know, the target for this year is 50,000 subscribers. Is that possible? We don't know. But guess what? As a human being, you set your goals. You set your goals. Everyone needs to set their goals. My goals is 50,000 subscribers this year. Is it possible? I don't know. But I have to have an aim. We need an aim. But guess what, people? We're gonna speak about Mike Ricketts, the JFF president. Two things. I have seen an official apology from Mike Ricketts to Ainsley Law, as you know, the defamation character lawsuit. We'll be speaking about that on a different video. And also, he's under pressure. He's coming under pressure from big hierarchy member of the Jamaica Football Association. So we're going to get into the details of that. But before we do, we're going to kick off the show by you guys hitting the subscribe button, hitting that like button, and here we go. Big up, heads up. From here. Good. So, as you know, at this point in time, you guys must have hit that subscribe button. You guys must have hit that like button. And let's get into the details. So, it was titled, it came into the Gleaner today, about just quit already. Just quit already. That's what they said. Calls for the JFF president to resign gets louder. Now, as you know, when mainstream media start to jump on these things, a lot more pressure is applied. No, not calling for someone to lose your job, though. Not calling for someone to lose your job. But if you're in a particular position in any work area and you don't meet the objectives, what do you think should happen? It doesn't matter where you work. Once you don't meet the objectives, what do you think is going to happen? That is just the work world. That is just how things are in the work era. Now, let me read you the article. So, major contributors to the Jamaica football industry have said President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, should rethink his response to whispered calls for his resignation after the Jamaica failed miserably in its attempt to qualify for the second FIFA World Cup under his leadership. So as I said earlier, if you're in a job area and you're not getting the results, what should your employers do? If you're in a job area and not getting results, what should your employer do? Let's go. Michael Ricketts immediately followed the Reggae Boyz' last World Cup qualifying match against Costa Rica, which ended any slim hopes of a revival of a disastrous qualification campaign, declared he will not be resigning. And we did a video on that. If you don't see it, you can check the link. There's a what do you call it now? Notification coming up right now at this moment. You can go and check that video out. Former JFF president Tony James, former Kingston and St. Andrew Football Association CASAFA president Stuart Stephenson, and former national player and advisor to the sports minister Ali McNabb all agreed that there is a need for change and that the president should look within himself and make the right decision. That's what happened when you have an organization where no one is being held accountable by anyone, so they're free to do what they want. So Mr. Ricketts can come out and say, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere," and guess what? No one is there to hold him accountable for him saying, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere." But that is how Jamaica. That's how football is in Jamaica. That is just a strange aspect of football in Jamaica. But anyways, let me get into more details of that. Stephenson said the current administration had enough time to prepare a proper qualification campaign, and after failing horribly, the honorable thing for the leadership, including the general secretary and the board, to do was to step aside. The performance was dismal and incompetent. You were expected to do a job and you have failed. If you have failed, you must step away. It is only decent and appropriate, said Stephenson. The general secretary fell down on the job from the beginning. I don't think he has the necessary technical competence for the job, and it has shown. Resignation should start with the general secretary and the buck stop with the president. I don't see any reason why, after getting every opportunity to prepare for a proper campaign, they should not walk away. Both together. That's what Stephenson said. Ooh, coming in very, very aggressive and harsh. Hard, fast. In the military, we call it hard, fast, and aggressive. This board must accept responsibility for giving Mike Ricketts an opportunity for a second mandate when he had not displayed any level of preparation for a 4-year term. He has been unable to attract sponsorship and has shown no vision. Ooh. Board members likewise should go because they have failed as well, said Stephenson. He said it's time for new blood and fresh thinking, something that the fans have been calling for a long while. This federation has moved from one crisis to the next, one failure to the next, and from one embarrassment to the next. Each time the players go on the field to play, it's a replica of what's happening in the federation. We need a wholesale change because they have shown no appetite for the development of sports, he said. The country and the federation has been subjected to too much embarrassment. So we have to be critical because we have had enough, he added. James said after a review of the campaign that some... I'm laughing, people. I'm laughing because these guys are going in extremely hard on Mike Ricketts, incompetent, and his board members. James said after a review of the campaign and personal reflection, it's up to Ricketts to make the right decision. This has to come from within, he commented. You know why. You have to know why you went into football. If you're in the football to really help and do the things needed for the sport to progress, nobody has to tell you when to go. When you haven't achieved, you leave. When you haven't achieved, you leave, he said. Like Stephenson, he pointed to a total lack of vision and understanding of what was needed to properly prepare. James pointed to issues such as the argument over players, remuneration, the ultimate influx of UK-based professionals, with limited practice games, which had a negative overall impact on the readiness for the qualifiers, as evidence of the lack of understanding. Confusion right through. This is a subtitle. This is a heading. This was the assembling of the best ever names in Jamaica World Cup program, but there was no understanding. There was confusion right through, he said. Nevertheless, he reasoned that the JFF was the only entity to blame for the diabolical as qualification requires the input of all shareholders. You cannot blame the JFF only. Nobody wants to see government involved in sports, but government has not taken football seriously. Yes. So I do understand that they're beating every single one. Even government is getting their fair share. And that's good. That's good. The government wouldn't come out and said that UJFF are embarrassing to us, to a sporting body which has found itself in so much disrepute, as they are willing to let the sport suffer like this because nobody is going to finance or trust the JFF, said James. Just as though they really, really trust the Reggae Boyz. Funny, the Reggae Girls, because there's some form of separate entity to that because of Sidana Marley. Under her leadership, she really, really fine-tune everything with a fine comb. But to get the program on the right level, you have to include stakeholders who have been left out. 13 parishes cannot make all decisions. How are we going to convince people you need good governance, accountability, and transparency? You will not get buy-in into football until you include your stakeholders. So if Mr. Ricketts is saying real reasons to help the sport, no one will have to tell him that he should resign. I don't think I really need to get into more details because there's not much to talk about on that. But what I'm seeing right here, these are things that the vloggers, the fans have been saying for years now. We have been saying the same thing, that There's no planning, there's no preparation. No one is putting things in place for us to have a footballing culture, because that is the only way we can progress, by garnering a footballing culture. We don't have a footballing culture. We do have a track and field culture, but we don't have a footballing culture. As you can see right here, you see that? Football tactics. We need those books. Football tactics. We need those books. Footballing tactics. Footballing tactics. We don't have that at the basic levels. We don't have that. So we're really relying on our natural talent, in which it's not good enough. Our natural talent is just not good enough, because that's not how football is in these days. So anyways, people, guys, I won't go any further. The stakeholders, the big members in the Jamaican Football Association in Jamaica, they're crying for Mike Ricketts' head. Fans weren't really necessarily crying for Mike Ricketts' head, but we're saying that we need change. We definitely said that we need change, and that is the only way we can get better, unless we're seeing changes right throughout the voting system. All those aspects of football in Jamaica need to change, and that is the only way we can improve. The only way we can improve. But people, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. As you know, Military Goooo TV, and I'll see you guys again. Until next time, we are out.